Join us for a tour of the all-new BMW 1 Series. Let's go! Let's just begin with the basic facts, because the new 1 Series is about 3 centimeters wider, and also it has a bigger stance on the road just visually. The BMW double kidney is bigger than before. They've done it with all of their models now, and those headlamps here are a little bit slimmer and more horizontally drawn. They start with halogen. Optionally, you can get the full LED. Those ones you can see here. And then they also have this L-form daytime running light. Pretty spectacular. This one here is the Sport line. So here then you have those vertical fins in the new BMW double kidney for the 1 Series, and also some chrome around right there with the frames. It's also different with the 135i. There's also the luxury line, and then there's an M Sport model. The M Sport would be then between the Sport line and the M135i. 4.32 meters, 14 foot 2 or 170 inches is the length of the new 1 Series. And if you really know the length of the old one, well, it hasn't really changed, but the proportions have changed. Here you can see the front hood is actually shorter. Yeah, I mean, visually, it usually looks better when those cars have a long hood. But however, this one is a hatch, so I think it does somehow then still fit to the car when the hood is a little bit shorter. When it's a hatch car, if it's a sedan or something, then the longer hood is definitely always more beautiful, I think. So, transverse engine mount, we already see it now from the exterior, and not longitudinal, so you can do this shorter hood, and that's supposed to give you more space on the interior. Of course, we will soon explore that together. 16 to 19 inch wheels. Those ones here are the top size, with the top sports model, also this M style for the rims, 19 inch. The white car here, by the way, mineral white, and again in the Sport line. Here it comes with 18-inch wheels in this very car, so a little bit smaller wheels, but I think it still fits the car very well. And you always have to think about the rolling comfort. The biggest wheels will also be a little bit less comfortable than. If you like it a little bit stiffer from the suspension, of course, you might not care. A very interesting light signature here at the rear, and the top sports model gets also those exhaust pipes right there, but the one here on the left, this one is actually shut at the moment with a separate valve, and it will open on demand and give you some more sound boost, but they are really two real exhausts. Also with a diffuser in the low end with some comp style right there. So you can also see it's the sports model. And now for this combination here, Sport line together with the 118i, so a small petrol engine, you just have one exhaust pipe. You have a contrasting lower end here in black to the mineral white. You can see there's no special wing in the top part. Again, a little bit more subtle overall. Which styling do you like best? You prefer the sportier one or the more drawn back one? So what about the engines, and again about this concept discussion. So again here now, you see the transverse mount of the engine. This one here is a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine in the M135i, 306 horsepower. And 4.8 seconds is the acceleration figure to 100 kilometers or 62 miles an hour. All-wheel drive, that means for this new generation, front-wheel drive plus rear on demand, maximum distribution of 50-50, front axle, rear axle. And again, they did that mainly to give you more room on the interior. And it's already confirmed that for the Coupe and the Cabriolet, which will be again called 2 Series, they will not do that. Then they will stick to the bigger platform, which has the rear-wheel drive, and then when you have the all-wheel drive, rear plus front, instead of here, front plus rear. But for all 1 Series, definitely this architecture. However, BMW promises, and we'll of course find out with the driving review, that the agility of the ride should not have been compromised because there's a new traction control. And this traction control is standard for all the 1 Series models, and it prevents understeering, so the typical characteristic of a front-wheel driven car. Also when you have the all-wheel drive model. This is very, very interesting. And the normal models also get somewhat then a simulated front differential lock, just on an electronic basis, again, because single wheels could be braked in or something. However, this one here, the M135i, this one still gets a real front differential lock, a mechanical one. This about the big engine, but there's also a small one. For example, this one here, I talked about earlier, the 118i, and this one is a 1.5 liter 3-cylinder. So you can even get that one with 140 horsepower, and then 8.5 seconds is the acceleration figure. Then there's also a 1.5 liter 3-cylinder diesel, the 116D with 116 horsepower. Wait, that fits. Then a 2 liter 4-cylinder diesel, 118D with 150 horsepower, or 120D then with 190 horsepower. Those ones here are so far confirmed. The lower engines, lower specs start with manual hand drive, and then you can also optionally get dual clutch transmission, 7-speed, or then also an 8-speed automatic gearbox for the bigger models. So plenty of choices, yes, and really very interesting how they will perform, both the smaller and the bigger engines, and of course we will test them both for you later. The smaller ones also just start front-wheel drive, and then again the one with big horsepower, there's also the all-wheel drive option, or with the M135i, always all-wheel drive. Now to the interior, because here it gets really exciting. There are two main aspects about it. First of all, they want to bring fresh styling. You can see it right there. This one will where the LED ambient lighting will also come. We will soon show that at the blue car. Then some soft touch on the top part, leatherette inserts right there. And this one here is a hard insert, but also with a structured surface. Very interesting. Some reasonable space also at those inside the door pockets. And the second important point of this car is they use premium materials, and they use all the stuff you can also get in the bigger cars. Soon tell you more about that. Here, for example, you get first of all a base seat form, which is more open. Those ones here are the sport seats. They come standard, for example, with the Sport line, with the M Sport, and also with the M135i. Let's now get inside. And this one would, for example, be the biggest difference to an X1 or the X2. As SUVs, they are just a little bit higher. Here you have a lower, sportier seating position. And indeed, if you think about being, let's say, BMW purist, then you might still go for this one, even though they change with the architecture, because this one is the smallest low vehicle they have. And you feel somewhat similar than the predecessor here in the front. You don't have too much room around you. You have a sporty cockpit atmosphere, definitely. As for the headroom, that is no problem. I'm one with 86 or 6'1" and leaves plenty up of headroom right there. This one here without panoramic roof at the moment. This is the new interior, and this setup here with this 10.25-inch screen, right and left, is the same also for the big BMW models. And here the climate control is still separate right here, so you can control it, for example, while driving. Then the volume knob right here with a metal knurling. High build quality, so BMW really has caught up there and even overtook Mercedes. So now we have turned on the engine. Then you can also see how the climate unit looks like here with the digital screen. And some more details to that screen right there. It's pretty responsive. You can have this touch control, as I said earlier. I like to use the hotkeys in the lower middle console that you can jump back to the main menu, for example. Phone connecting with Bluetooth or then with Apple CarPlay, and Apple CarPlay is also wireless. And then you can also use this new voice control, which works pretty good for, destinations, also temperature. Hey BMW.
Hello, what can I help you with?
Scratch my back.
The vehicle is not equipped with this function.
Too bad. And those are the optional full digital instruments. You can see here that the RPM go counterclockwise and the speed goes clockwise. They do that to have some more space, for example, then for assistance systems information in the middle part. I have set the driver's seat to my driving position, so when there's a tall driver, and well, so far, for me, there was no chance to get in the rear of a 1 Series without hurting anything. And now it works. So, indeed, couple of centimeters more at the knees and also at the head, together with those savings on the rear part of the seat. You see, it definitely directly fits here for tall adults, and also headroom-wise with 1.86 or 6'1". Now, first time ever with an electric hatch also for the 1 Series. Here we go. There's an option, and then there's now 380 liters. That's 20 liters more than before, up to 1,200 liters. We'll soon show you that. And the length right here is about 75 centimeters in length, and it's about a meter in width. And now the car with my favorite exterior color also has my favorite interior. Really amazing what they've done here. So first of all, the ambient lighting here, LED ambient lighting, you can see it here a little bit more, soon also more when the doors are being closed. And they also have some blue fabric here at the inside of the doors, and then also fitting blue contrast stitches. Those ones here are the optional M Sport seats. So again, base seats, sport seats, and then the third option, M Sport seats, and they have an integrated head restraint. You can see it right there. So visually, on the sporty side, more attractive even. And then there's fabric on the inner part. This is then for even better climate comfort than with the microfiber, because the microfiber gets a little bit warmer and cozier than the fabric, which stays a little bit cooler. But microfiber, of course, still stays cooler than a slick surface. And you can see here this fabric microfiber or Alcantara mix, again with the blue contrast stitches. That's very beautiful and very sporty. And you can see the seat form is different. And now to our conclusion for today with the all-new BMW 1 Series. This paradigm shift, or this new platform, you can very well understand it on the factual side, because what we could clearly see today, you have way more legroom in the rear passenger compartment. And that's very important if you buy this car, maybe even as a primary vehicle, and then you have to rely on that room you have. So this is a massive step forward, and I think we can then also live with it that the front hood is a little bit shorter. Visually, I think it works pretty well, especially here with the M135i. I think the rear wing is also something that makes the car way sportier just from the visual side. The interior build quality is very good, and especially great as for those fabric and Alcantara seating choices. A big step forward for BMW. Good for the customer and also better for the environment and for the animals. So pretty nice interior, and also a little bit more fresh than maybe some of the other BMWs. At the same time, you can get the same infotainment update that you would get with the bigger BMW models. So the same as we've recently seen with Mercedes, that they also have their smaller cars, with all of the stuff you also can get for the big cars. So in the past it was like that the high-tech infotainment system and also assistance systems you could only get for the bigger ones, now also for the small cars. The emergency brake, the autonomous one, is by the way included here, and then optional, of course, all the other assistance systems like blind spot monitor, adaptive cruise control and so on. And even this reverse driving assistant we've recently shown with the BMW 7 Series, that you can go inside somewhere and then, it doesn't fit, I want to go just backwards the same way. Even this assistant here available with the BMW 1 Series. It will be very interesting how it drives with the all-wheel drive here, for example, and in general as for the handling. They promise there's still a very agile handling, although it's primarily a front-wheel driven car. If that's true, we will find out for you soon in the full driving part. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and please like, share and recommend us, and also see us next time.